Pokémon Reloaded, the Pokémon fan game that employs a real-time battle system. I'm sure you've seen this game making its rounds on your YouTube homepage once or twice, but for those of you who are in the dark, this game detaches itself from Pokemon's trademark turn-based battles and worked in a functional and dynamic real-time battle system. This battle system enables us to constantly move our Pokemon during battle, attacking with the 4 moves assigned to the 4-slot moveset. Each move would consume a varying degree of PP, which would regenerate over the course of the battle. This was quite similar to the stamina bar in Souls-like games, so this game definitely piqued my interest. In this video, we'll be covering the main game of Pokémon Reloaded and what it has to offer. So sit back, relax, and hello. Consider subscribing and doing all of the YouTube algorithm boosting activities if this channel resonates with you. Upon starting a new game, we were offered an array of protagonist sprites to choose from, including their own custom sprite for the region. We went ahead and chose the Brendan and May combinations for our protag rival duo and answered a series of questions. I'm not sure what purpose this questionnaire served, but we had to choose a catchphrase, so out came my irrational hatred for Wally yet again. Confident of my Souls-like skills, I went ahead and chose the professional difficulty without any hesitation. This would come back and bite us in the behind much sooner than you would think. The scene opened with Professor Oak and our character, ready to start us off on our Pokemon trainer journey in the Star region. We then saw a meeting consisting of all the evil organization's leaders, complete with copyrighted music. Since this game was originally in Spanish, the translation done throughout the English version of the game wasn't the best, so there were a lot of parts where I wasn't sure I understood the dialogue properly. The next morning, we woke up in the starter town called Alba, turned off the music to avoid potential copyright strikes, and headed off to the professor's lab. At the lab, May had already gotten a Pokemon for her early showing, and we chose a Pikachu to somewhat keep with the channel affiliation with picking small yellow rodents. I forgot to nickname this Pikachu, but a familiar nicknaming scheme would make a return. We frolic around the tall grass for a good bit to get used to the battle controls, and caught a Rookidee, which was named Rookie Popo. The battling system had quite a steep learning curve at this point, though I'm not quite sure if that was because of the difficulty choice or just how the battles play out in general. We lost our very first trainer battle and got half of our net worth mugged by a shorts-wearing youngster. We did beat him at the next attempt, but the bitter aftertaste of defeat still lingered. We swore to never lose again, and surely enough, we ate dirt not long after, this time by the hands of May. Look at the Streako with the bullet seeds. I don't know about you, but spamming an attack this often should be illegal. We played it a bit smarter with the Pokemon choice for the next attempt and promptly claimed victory. We reached Valda Town, did the whole Pokemon School battles to advance the story, and got this kid to follow us. For a while, I didn't know we were supposed to talk to the teacher of the school again to get this kid off our tail, so he just ended up sticking with us for a bit. Eventually, we returned the kid to avoid kidnapping charges, but I do wonder what would happen if we didn't go through the trouble of taking him back to his mother. We caught an Abra somewhere along the way, and navigated the long-winded routes of the early game areas. I think this long-windedness was something that the game itself addressed in one of the NPC dialogues, but I'm not sure it's something that I personally am a fan of. While it does add a certain amount of difficulty in strategic planning, it did feel like they were designed to be lengthy just for the sake of being lengthy. In any case, after a long trek, we finally made it to the edge of Speaker City, where we met Teron, who ran an institute of Pokemon battling, whose purpose is to explain further about the battling mechanics of the game. It's well worth noting that in battle, we were only allowed a total of 6 healing items, so we can't just cheese battles and spam healing items. Abra evolved into a Kadabra, and off we go to face the first gym. Here was where we faced our first real roadblock, Leader Mino. Boasting a total of 6 Pokemon, I found this gym to be really tough. At first, I can only make it to his Kabuto before wiping out. I tried out a number of different strategies coming in, but they just didn't work out. So we caught a Ghastly, leveled for a bit, and challenged the gym again. Much like how I play Souls-like games, we came in to bash our heads against a brick wall, meaning I'll just do it over and over again until I can find a crack to exploit. After a lot of trial and error, I thought I had found a winning solution. Kadabra had hidden power, which was fortunately a ground-type move. He took down Mino's Geodude easily, as well as the Cranidos that came after. There was a bit more back and forth with the Kabuto, but ultimately we had the last move. The Onix that came after was never really a problem, since its huge body meant that it was easier to hit. We finished a subsequent nose pass before Mino could throw a healing item, and it was time for the worst Pokemon in this battle, the Lycanroc. This thing was fast, attacked very frequently, and just generally a nightmare to hit. Pikachu tried his best, but ended up fainting after dealing a bit of damage with Thunder Shocks. Spooky Popo, our Ghastly, came out and immediately poisoned the Lycanroc with Smog, and we cycled through our team until Kadabra came back out, ending the weakened Lycanroc with a hidden power. It might not seem like it in the video, but this was a really satisfying win. The Rock Badge was ours, and we progressed through the game to get the Rock Smash HM, and continue with the story. With the newly acquired HM, we were able to catch Sir Popo the Snivy, and we headed west to reach the next town. Sir Popo evolved into a Servine not long after, and somebody had sprayed some goop on us, turning us into an easy target for a flock of Spearows. We were saved by Lorelei at the end of the stretch, with her Lapras spraying us with holy water to exorcise the goop. The quest to reach the next town was long and arduous, filled with numerous trainer battles. This was good for our Pokemon's experience, and we caught all the Pokemon we saw to fulfill the requirements for the experience share. If we were to catch 50 Pokemon, we can talk to one of the professor's aides and obtain an experience share to make grinding easier. By the time we reached Talo Town, we were pretty close to catching 50 Pokemon, so we quickly drove Team Aqua out of the Slowpoke well and saved the town's weather and ecosystem. On our way back for the experience share, we stopped by the Battling Institute to complete the Z trial, which ended up being pretty hard. We were seemingly too low leveled, so we left this challenge for later. To the east of Spica Town, we caught a Charmander and nicknamed it Charpopo. Not 2 minutes later, our Totodile evolved into a Croconaw. At the checkpoint east of Spica, we finally got our hands on the EXP share. We revisited the Z trial after and aced it, bagging us the Normalium Z. We tracked north from Talo Town to reach Now City, home to the water gym. Upon visiting the daycare, we found that Team Rocket, no, not the usual grunts, the anime face of Team Rocket, Jesse, James and Meowth had taken over the daycare to steal Pokemon. Naturally, we foiled their evil plans and sent them blasting at the speed of light. Wow, I didn't think I'd have to write that line in 2024. Anyway, our Ghastly evolved into a Haunter, and we blazed through the water-type gym first try. Actual first try, yeah? Not the PewDiePie first try. Or is it? What wasn't first try was the next major battle, the May battle east of Naos. Holy crap, this battle sucked balls. We just couldn't win no matter how we spun the cat, so I was at a complete loss. I knew I needed to grind levels for a bit, but the wild Pokemon around the area was just too low leveled that it was going to take ages to grind. And then I remembered about the Z trial at the beach in Naos, and how we can retire from the challenge at any time. So, like a true grindmaster, we repeated the trial over and over again until we were more adequately leveled. With our newfound brimming confidence, we headed east once more to challenge May, only to find out that the major battles had their levels scaled with ours. Kill me now. Back to square one, forcing square pegs on round holes. It took at least 3 more tries, but we finally had the winning formula. Well, not really, more like the winning fluke. But hey, I'm not really complaining. Pikachu took care of the Pidgeotto fairly easily, and Sir Popo steamrolled May's Rhyhorn. We switched to the Haunter to defeat the Elekid, combining Smog and Venoshock for the extra damage. This matchup was a bit of a back and forth, but we had the last laugh. May's next Pokemon was a Kadabra, and we sent out Totopopo. Totopopo almost kicked the bucket, but he managed to get the last hit. He immediately got eradicated by the Grovyle, and the best I can come up with for this Grovyle was just running around and hitting her when we could. Kadabra did sufficient damage and baited enough healing items for May, and we left the rest to Charpopo. We relied on the good old Dragon Rage, and outlasted the godforsaken Grovyle. I think this was one of the few battles after Mino that really had my adrenaline pumping at maximum. Right above the spot where we battled May, we caught a Chespin and nicknamed it Chespopo. We carried on our journey through the Star region and found this Larvitar in some cave. After a brief rest on a Miltank farm, we took care of a disruption over at the Pokemon Tower. Similar to the Kanto games, Team Rocket had made their way to the tower in search for something, and it was up to a minor like us to return peace to the citizens. We were gifted the Pokeflute for our troubles, and caught this bastard Snorlax after many tries. The fact that it endlessly spammed breaths was quite annoying really. It does feel like the limit on health recovery moves isn't strict enough. Due to the fact that this Snorlax was super annoying, we named it Wally. After trekking through a fog-filled forest which had no difference between its tall grass and common tiles, we were getting closer to the next city, Sirius City. Serious question though, what's the point of differentiating the tiles if they serve the same purpose? In any case, we made it to Sirius City only to find the gym leader gone. There was some sort of ghost Pokemon outbreak in the city, and the mayor asked us to find the gym leader and see if we can resolve the outbreak. We found Helia staring at the water, and went back to expose this dodgy looking Drifblim. Well, at least now we know who we're dealing with. Together with Helio, we drove the Magma Brigade out of the cemetery. There wasn't much to take note of here, the battles were over without much difficulty. With this, we were able to challenge the gym for our next batch. This gym had half of Doofus' gym gimmick, and getting through it wasn't too much trouble. For the battle against Helia herself, we relied heavily on Pikachu's nasty plot spam, with the intention of one-shotting her team, at least close to it. After the battle, Chespopo evolved into a Chestnut. we were invited to stay in the city's only hotel, experienced an invasive dream courtesy of this not-so-nice Darkrai, and woke up in Agatha's current residence, which just so happens to be the old Sirius Hotel. With a Flash HM in tow, we ventured inside this cave, which was very, dark. We employed good use of our newfound HM and flashed everyone we saw. On the other side of the cave, we reached the snowy point of the map, and of course the gym was locked. This gym had a strange prerequisite to enter, and that was to gather parcels. Don't ask why, I really don't know. So we scoured the area for said parcels and proceeded to get lost in the Ice Puzzle Cave. It felt interesting and exciting at first, but it did feel quite drawn out by the time we had to look for the last parcel. We skipped some of the gym trainers and headed straight for the leader. Sharpopo had already evolved into a Charizard by this point, so the opening Jinx was no problem. For the rest, we stuck with the patented nasty plot spam, and Pikachu proceeded to Pika Pika all over Bobby's team. That was until the Glalie pulled a sneaky one and Mega evolved. Pikachu bit the dust and Spooky Popo finished the Glalie in his stead. Our Ghastly couldn't quite finish the Ninetales and opted to sleep the night away. He was close to winning though. Chespopo came out and ruined just about anything and everything, as well as our newly caught Sneasel. Sharpopo came back out for a nap. The sleeping mechanics in this game is absolutely infuriating. Blood boiling, to say the least. However, Sharpopo pulled a victory out of his fiery bunda and somehow managed to outplay the Lapras. A clutch victory always tastes quite sweet. After the Ice Gym, the game slowed down the pace a bit, letting us explore before forcing more story events. We went through a swampier area to the south and reached Kina Town, experiencing the Fortress City type atmosphere. Nothing much to mention here except we had another May fight before exiting the town. God damn it. Though surprisingly, this battle went much more smoothly than the previous one. I didn't even lose a single team member. I didn't know if this was because of my team composition or because I had gotten used to the combat system a lot more. We tried visiting the Safari Zone and found that it was barricaded by the police, so we headed east to visit the next gym. Before that, Pokemon Race. Not sure what that was for, but that was interesting. There were more errands to run before the gym. This time we had to take back something that was stolen from Vega City's gym leader. In turn, this mission would grant us the bike, something we would require to confront the biker who had stolen the item. It took a while to find all the bikers and to battle them, and once again it was left to a kid to solve everyone's problems. The grass gym had Gardenia's gym gimmick in Diamond and Pearl, the only difference being the gazillion number of gym trainers. This gym took a couple of tries actually. It was much tougher than I had thought. To win this battle, I had to use the full rotation of my team. Sharpopo took care of the Roserade and Exeggutor, Spooky Popo downed the Torterra and Sceptile with his poison type attacks before finally kicking the bucket to the Decidueye. Pika Popo proved himself useless this time around, and Totopopo, our Feraligatr, showed a good outing by spamming Ice Fangs. The next couple of minutes were our Kadabra flailing about, trying to hit the Venusaur with Psychic. This went on for really long actually. For having such a big body, the Venusaur was quite elusive. We sent Sharpopo back out for the Decidueye, and we finally ended the long fight. I cut out the failed tries, but this battle took a while before our eventual victory. After, we obtained a Squirt Bottle to rustle up Bonsly and Sudowoodo's Jimmies. Oh, not that Jimmy. That one's rustling illegal Jimmies by way of proxy. We got to Pole City and explored for a bit, and eventually found the Beast Trio locked up in some abandoned house. And then I didn't quite know what to do. We went back and forth everywhere to find a clue about where to go to no avail, so after a couple of hours of searching, I gave up and Google translated the guide for this game from its wiki. Apparently, I didn't fully explore Wayward Cave here and didn't find the necessary exit. Once we did though, it was an easy trip to beat all these Team Galactic members. We beat Commander Mars handily because of the level difference, and finally we could make our way to the Safari Zone. Our only goal in the Safari Zone was to find Brock, who will give us the Strength HM as a bribe to keep us quiet. With Strength, we could now go ahead and do these boulder puzzles in the cave west of Pole City. Really long boulder puzzles. As I've mentioned before, sometimes I did feel like the length of the puzzles in the game was just longer for the sake of stretching out the area. Nevertheless, we made it out of the cave and found ourselves in the desert area, which, you guessed it, had quite a bit of distance before the next town. We had the scripted Team Rocket Trio encounter and ended their escapades pretty quickly. We pushed through until we ended up in Rigel City. This city had quite the character actually. It was one of the cities that left an impression on me. We stumbled upon the scientist who left us to die with the Spearows, and we had to help him out yet again. The gym in Rigel City was a fire-type gym, complete with a Lava Ridge gym puzzle. We beat this gym first try, surprisingly. I thought I would run into a roadblock here, but I suppose I found a workaround pretty quickly. After our first 2 Pokemon, we defaulted back to the nasty plot spam with Pika Popo, ending all of Adalia's remaining Pokemon nicely. As nice as a blazing electric shot could be. After beating the gym, there was a weather emergency, meaning we couldn't use the Fly HM. We trekked back through the desert only to find Clement and his sister. From this point on, I can only guess that the translation work wasn't done, because I was confused, Clement was confused, and his sister was confused. What I did know was that we needed to get through this Team Flare hideout. It was more of a fetch this key and unlock this tour type of quest, so it did get tedious. We fought Xerosich at the end just like the Team Flare missions back in Kalos. And something happened with his guards and I honestly don't know. Everybody was confused. We were able to use Fly again and we immediately headed over to the Weather Institute. And just like in the 3rd generation games, we had to fight Team Aqua. We defeated Admin Shelly and were offered a useless cast form, and we had this encounter with Archie and Maxie outside the Institute. Gold joined us and revealed himself to be some sort of elite squad member. I don't know, I think it's called the Elite Squad. The story was very lost to me at this point. We defeated Archie and continued back to Pole City. The sewer part of Pole City was next, where Team Rocket had taken over. We had an immense level advantage over this part of the game because of the experience share, so we pretty much breezed through the sewer and defeated the admin, freeing Zapdos in the process. Watson, who arrived there before us, gave us the Surf HM and left. With the Surf HM, we were able to reach Moontown, where the ruins of Omega was located. I actually completed this part without the guide and accidentally found all the puzzles, so I was pretty happy with myself. Before we could continue west, we had to find the 3 weapons that are required for us to challenge Pole City's gym leader. That's right, it's another fetch quest. We found the bow in the power plant, the knife in Heat Island, and the axe in Wind Island. Now that we had the 3 weapons, we could finally challenge the Dragon-type gym. But of course, we had to be caught with our pants down yet again. I really don't know how I aced this first try, but I suppose with the addition of Cheerpopo the Tyranitar, we were able to get some more variety to the team. Pikapopo did his usual nasty plot spam, and Sharpopo finished his Sceptile quite nicely. Gym Leader Locke was next. It was time for the 7th badge. We opened with Feraligatr, spamming Ice Fangs against the Dragonite. Locke sent out his Elements next, but immediately recalled it for his Kingdra. Pikapopo was out again for our best move, the nasty plot spam. Terpopo tried against the Garchomp, but couldn't take the abuse. Then we sort of just played it safe with Spooky Popo Shadow Ball. Sharpopo did his job paralyzing the Hydreigon, and we went back with more Ice Fangs. Locke's Mega Charizard took a while to go down, but he couldn't do anything against our Water Gator machine. Out came the Salamence again, and our favorite mouse did his thing, ending the fight. First try, ladies and gents. We continued on to Antares City, where the concept of the bank was introduced. I really wish this was introduced way sooner. The bank basically safekeeps your money, so you don't necessarily always have to lose half your wallet every time you lose a battle. I feel like this feature would have been a lot more useful earlier in the game, saving us a lot more time and effort in case we kept losing. We were called for a meeting with the crusty professors, and Professor Elm made an interesting remark that said we were very altered. I'm going to start saying that to people now. More importantly, we had to quell Team Galactic. But we had to help out the quack scientist first. We identified the intruder in the building and obtained the Master Ball. Right after, we stormed the Galactic hideout near Antares City and freed the Lake Trio. This hideout looked very much like the main HQ in Veilstone City. Upon completion, we can now challenge the last gym to qualify for the league. The last gym leader was none other than the creator of the game himself, Fur. Nice little self-insert here. He is a Psychic-type trainer, boasting a team that has quite the firepower. This fight took 4 tries. It took a bit to get used to his Pokemon choices. First, the Alakazam always started fast, and its Mega Evolution didn't help. We survived the early barrage and hunted him down with crunches. Terpopo couldn't survive the Wobbuffet, and oh yeah, it was time for our favorite strat. Next was first Galate, which eventually got afflicted with paralysis from Pikachu's static. We danced around for a bit before finally ending the Psychic fighting type. The Jinx and Slowking that came after got dealt with lightning quick. As well as the Metagross actually. Nothing can really stop this nasty plot spam so far when done correctly. And that was that. We got the final badge, and now we can finally head over to Victory Road. Except I forgot we needed the Dive HM, so off we go to play this minigame. Not too terribly hard, you'll just have to be aware of where the bells are in advance. Before long, we surfed to Sun Island and found the Victory Road segment, which housed all the mainline game's rivals. I won't cover all their individual battles, since none of them are challenging enough on their own, but looky here. It's none other than our great nemesis Wally. I knew I wasn't wrong in choosing the No Wally Loud catchphrase. We stomped Wally with ease, defeated Red, and ran into Team Rocket again, which arguably was a tougher battle than all of the rivals we encountered in the cave. I don't know why exactly, Jesse's Arbok here just felt like a terrible bullet sponge. It took forever to kill, and the status ailments it inflicts were just really annoying. We stocked up on healing items for the Elite Four challenge, and went inside to start the gauntlet. In case you were wondering, I saved before every Elite Four fight. I didn't think it was necessary to beat them all in one go. The first Elite Four was Tina, a Poison-type master. We opened with Spooky Popo, who tried his best to inflict damage until we switched him out for Toto Popo. The Feraligatr wasn't dealing as much damage as I would have liked, so we switched him out after taking down the Nidoqueen. Charpopo was next, and she really wasn't pulling her weight here. Charpopo took care of the Toxicroak and had an absolutely long and drawn out battle with a Mega Gengar here that came after Tina's Crobat was switched out. Tina's Drapion was easy work, and Pikapopo ended the show with some good old Charge Up Thunder. First try for Tina. Next up was Liu, the normal type Elite Four. And this battle was a bit unfortunate really. I had planned to use Pikapopo only in the beginning, but it was looking like he could handle it all. And to be fair, he did. The Nasty Plot strat was starting to become a bit ridiculous. Who needed Mega Evolutions when you can just spam Nasty Plots? The next Elite Four was Morpheus? Sometimes I question the design choices in this game, but that's really neither here nor there. He was an electric type specialist, and we lost our first battle with him. On our second attempt, we pretty much just played the type advantage game, sending out Chespopo after Turpopo took out his Peekaboo. The segment with the lantern did take a while, but Spooky Popo managed to take out 2 of Morpheus' Pokemon. Wow, I did not think I would have to say that sentence ever. Turpopo came back out for the Magnezone and Rekivolt, which I believe is a Pokémon Reloaded Fakemon. Correct me if I'm wrong, comment section. We cycled through our Pokemon for a bit before downing the Fakemon, and had Turpopo and the Electivire to win the battle. 3 down, 1 more Elite Four to go. Volcano was next, and he used ground types. This battle was tougher than the previous 3, completely deserving of the last Elite Four spot I guess. It took 4 tries in total, and I guess there wasn't really a specific strat going into this fight other than trying to make use of type advantages. While there are a lot of positives about the combat system, it does feel really stiff at times, mainly due to the fact that we mostly can only attack in 8 directions. It can get quite frustrating at times, not being able to attack in the direction you're pushing the joystick at. In any case, we were able to brute force the victory over Volcano's Garchomp and can now face the champion whose identity you can pretty much guess. It's the girl forsaken by the gods herself, May. Looking back at the footage, I think it took me about 9 tries to finish this fight, and a good chunk of those tries were because of her first Pokemon, Alakazam, using aimbot to immediately demolish my first Pokemon. It was actually driving me insane. I tried out a lot of different strategies, but ultimately fell back to my favorite. That's right, the Nasty Plot spam. It just worked really. We defeated the Alakazam swiftly, and the subsequent Kingdra that May sent out. I rode the Pika Wave and downed the Magmortar with relative ease, and the Fakemon Cyclaw that came after. Things were getting absolutely wild. We switched over to Toto Popo to rationally down the Rhyperior, and out came the bane of my existence, the Sceptile. The Sceptile's Mega Evolution was definitely my run-ender, but this time for some reason I had Chespopo next. I'm pretty sure I pressed Rock Smash by accident, but seeing as every other hit would lower the Sceptile's defense, I just ran with it and committed. And it actually worked, much to my surprise and joy. All the other smart tricks I tried to use didn't work, but at this point I was just glad we got the battle over with. We were dragged to the Hall of Fame by Fur, registering our feat in the records. The game, of course, wasn't over, as we took it upon ourselves to join the Elite Squad. Remember that squad Gold was a part of? Yeah, we could still fight the other evil organizations and challenge other regions' gym leaders that are scattered around Star Region. As for this video, I think this will be a good point to call it. I know there are elements of the combat system that I haven't really dived into, such as the Z-moves and Mega Evolutions, but I do feel like the combat overstays its welcome at times. There were many times where I would lose an exchange and thought, well, that's just not fair, isn't it? It might be because I was playing on professional, but oftentimes I did feel immensely frustrated losing battles because the attack went the complete opposite way from where I wanted it to go. I think I felt more frustrated losing to May than I did to Melania and Rodon, and I lost to May way less times. Coupled with the long and stretched out route designs, getting through some areas felt like a chore at times. That comparison might be unfair since Pokémon Reloaded is a fan game, but I do believe Reloaded has the potential to polish the combat system and deliver a great experience. Having said that, I did have fun, and those were just points I think could be used for consideration. If you're looking for a different Pokémon experience, this should be a game that you try. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed your stay, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.